back down. Yeah. Oh, sorry, how is it? You're gonna do it. Just me.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That's very helpful. I'm going to try and go.
Another camera on this side. That way, the full camera.
That's fine. I'll come.
No. Paolo.
Wow. Paolo. Hey, mate. How are you? Do you want me to show someone?
现在才说。
是呀，他们肯定才知道。
Is that dipping in and out?
It is. So that's them. I think it's
Thank you.
What do you call that, Robin? Auto ducking. One that goes in and out. Auto ducking on the gallery link. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Auto ducking. It kind of goes up and down like some of the people left. Rose is an expert now. I'll ask Rose. Because Rosie was doing no recording stuff. Ducking. Auto ducking. Is there something as auto ducking? Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Yeah. That is took out of the camera. Such low output, like what the DC is. Takes up the function for recording. It's really bad. Would be nice to go that way. Backwards. No, it's like that. Take that. It's like reading a solo. You've got enough cat pictures.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Yes.
Never enough. But apparently there are like some cool stuff. Because I'm out there like put a proper bolt. Not sure what exactly it's about. Hear the smoke go down, fading down backwards.
Hello. Sure. Clients, if at any point I'm not ducking away quick enough, you need to come in, just some sudden movement. Sniper trained them. Yeah, and it's very deliberate that President Zelensky is undertaking this week of diplomacy. He was in Berlin yesterday with Chancellor Merz. He's going to be here any minute to meet Prime Minister Keir Starmer. All about European leaders showing very publicly that they are standing fully behind the Ukrainian leader. I mean, the message here is pretty simple, actually. One that's been coming from Downing Street for weeks is that no deal about the future of Ukraine can be imposed on the country, that it needs to be part of any decision-making process. And in that sense, I think Downing Street and President Zelensky will be encouraged by what they heard President Trump say last night when he said that he's thinking about having a second summit, which would be Ukraine and Russia around the table. That suggests that there isn't going to be a deal sewn up tomorrow that President Zelensky is simply presented with. However, as we were discussing a wee while ago, it's interesting being here today because this isn't the front line of the diplomatic efforts that are going on at the moment. In fact, we're thousands of miles away from where the real action this week is going to be. Yes, hugely symbolic, hugely important for Volodymyr Zelensky to be walking up this famous street and shaking Sir Keir Starmer's hand. But both of them know the big moment this week is going to be tomorrow when President Putin sits down with President Trump. No problem. Absolutely is. It's something that Keir Starmer's talked a lot about, that idea of security guarantees. So if there was some sort of ceasefire, if there were some sort of peace deal, something that would ensure that Russia doesn't then turn around in a few months and say, actually we've changed our mind, we're going further into Ukraine. You might remember that the UK was pushing the US to be part of that security guarantee a few months ago. There are some reports that Donald Trump was open to that in that virtual summit that was held yesterday. There is a wider question though about how immediately that could be set up, whether the UK would actually be prepared to put boots on the ground on the front line in Ukraine in the event of a ceasefire. Those are complicated and difficult questions that we don't have straightforward answers to yet. But yeah, look, I mean, that's part of the discussion that will be going on. President Zelensky, I'm sure, when he sits down with Sir Keir Starmer, as well as saying, look, this is the only sort of peace deal we could agree to, we need there to be a ceasefire, we don't want to give away our land, he will also be saying, we want to make sure this doesn't just happen again. President Zelensky has warned time and again that President Putin is bluffing here, that if he gets his way in these talks, it won't be the last thing that he demands. There will be more to come in the future. So that's absolutely a key part of what is going to be on the table in the next few days and the next few weeks. It's really interesting as well that Keir Starmer has chosen to work so closely with the leaders in France and Germany. A bit of a post-Brexit reset is what the UK government used to talk about. I think you're getting a bit of the sense that that diplomatic effort is ramping up with Europe. So yes, look, Keir Starmer wants to be seen to be at the front line of all of this. And one of the arguments that Number 10 has been making is that you can't just leave any peace deal to chance. You can't trust President Putin. He's not somebody that you can take at his word. President Zelensky just going into Downing Street as we speak just now. And part of the message that Keir Starmer is hoping that Donald Trump is listening to, President Zelensky will be hoping that President Trump is listening to ahead of those talks tomorrow, is exactly that. President Putin is not somebody that you can just take at face value. You need to get some security guarantees. Good morning, President Zelensky.
Can Trump deliver a fair ceasefire, Mr. President? What's your message to President Trump? Will the UK put boots on the ground to secure a ceasefire? Will you call out President Trump if he falls to Putin? Is President Trump listening to you, Prime Minister? Is he listening to you, Mr. President?
President Zelensky,
Will you reject land loss, Mr. President? Will you accept a frozen conflict, Prime Minister?
confident of a ceasefire?
Will you back Ukraine fully, Prime Minister?
Yeah, it happens to be several times down the street and different places, particularly over the last few months actually, dramatic effort around all of this wrapped up. You can see the friendly relationship they have actually, I think, with that hug that Keir Starmer gave President Zelensky as he walked up the street there. Both of them remaining tight-lipped about whether they trust Donald Trump to deliver in those talks with President Putin tomorrow. And, you know, I think it's worth emphasising. It's really important that President Zelensky is here to get a public show of support from the Prime Minister. But both of them, as well as being cautiously optimistic after those talks yesterday, I think will inevitably be a bit nervous about what happens today. We know that President Trump can be a bit unpredictable. We know that his positions sometimes change. Some people who've worked closely with him say that often the last person who spoke to him has a lot of influence over his thinking. And both leaders, as they sit down in number 10 just now, although they will be hammering home their messages, they know they are not at the table tomorrow, so they will be a bit nervous.
Still not recording, right? That's what it's fun anyway. So I've just overlooked now, I think there is a seafoam, what do you call it, these big boxes? Seafoam boxes? Yeah, I think there's one down there somewhere.
Oh, did you say? Yeah.
And then we can run that up, okay? I'm not surprised that Wayne didn't bring it up.
Sorry, do we know Zelensky's going to walk out as well? Yes. Very thorough shouting. Impressive. Very thorough shouting. Impressive.
in a bit.
Yeah. So helpful sometimes.
It's MW code.
Yeah, but the TXP, if you know anything about that, I put it on this one.
Yeah. Have you got TXP on your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't got TXP.
TXP.
MW.
Yeah, I think MW still works. I'm trying to get it on.
Bye. Did you smash it?
I've got it on
Yeah, because I think.
TXP on my Mac.
Yeah, because they're weaning off MW.
Yes. It's the same thing though, isn't it? It's just a different name.
Basically. Well, TXP does look a bit smooth. It does seem a bit smooth. No, I definitely should get this one as attachment. Sometimes attach it here for the everyone's use.
Yes. Yeah, I've got this in my bag.
They're not British, are they? Crazy.
As in, what might be that?
Sennheiser MK50, I think. Yeah, I think you're taking a live shot. But I'm just taking it. But yeah, it's the MK60 or 50, I think.
Sturdy metal.
Yeah, it's very sturdy. It's for
Yeah, I've got one of them, but I've never seen it used for that.
it's a plastic table and it's screwed in. There's always something to add to the kit.
You've got abundance of bullshit.
Honestly, sometimes. But yeah, I'd recommend this as well. It's got about 4.
Yeah.
I put this one, I put that one, I put this here.
So you power the camera, but does it ever overheat for you? Not on the camera.
Yeah, neither one does to be honest. Maybe this is what it's called as well. Well, like I said, there's always something to add.
Yeah. That's the thing. You think you've got a small camera by the time you're out of it. Almost as big.
Even this, by the way, I'm fucked out.
Oh really? You don't need a top mic, just sometimes it might be handy.
I found the solution. To use the cable, you just have this unplugged and you need to plug it. One of the mics.
So you use what? Like,
This, if I have the wireless DJI attachment,
oh yeah.
I give the corresponding, for example, their
Yeah,
mic,
yeah.
and I attach the extra mic here. It's very good sound out.
Yeah.
If not, I use the jack cable, plug it into the phone, and keep this attached but unplugged. I need to take ambient sound.
Oh god.
Always something.
It's not. I think I'd rather, ideally, because does this let you record 4 channels? So So I'd rather keep Atmos somewhere 3 and 4.
That is the good thing about it. But this takes up a lot of room. It's always prone to breaking.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing. And the good thing about this option is you've tried it. Yeah, it's good enough. You've tried it. Once I done 4 mics on this,
They bleed onto each other.
I just bought mics 1 and 2 in edit, mics 3 and 4 right. So there were 4 mics running at the same time.
Especially finding that Aaron was coming back, back and fairly good. It's not it's so much isn't it? It's a big stuff. These sort of engineers, the fact that they pulled one out last second. When they pulled one off,
I just like that.
Personally, on the FX6, it makes it like, I find myself using JSON
Right?
well, this is it.
X6 is awesome. You can do sit down.
That's the last one to do. They should have fought for it.
Look at this. This police officer down there is having a standoff with a fox. I've never seen anything like it. Just brazen London foxes.
Should we name it?
That's like you're looking fox as well.
That's one of the ones that's got that. What's that condition they get when they lose all perspective?
Oh,
Yeah, they're no longer scared of people. There's like a thing, they go crazy and just start
Rabies.
going. Pardon?
Rabies.
No, it's not. It's like, I can't remember. We've got foxes in Ireland. My wife's convinced that this thing exists. Ukrainian fox. No, they don't move. CTSFO. I don't think. Counter-terrorist specialist firearms officer. The guys with the guns.
It's like cool. Nick, we've got an update for you.
Central vestibular syndrome.
Let's go with that.
I don't know, but I think they want a shot for a 10.
You know what I was reading today?
Oh, I see.
It's weird because in Colorado, local
No, I
rabbits
didn't.
have transport into the mutant
I'll give them
rabbits. And they've got like horns sticking out of the neck.
Horns?
Yes, it looks disgusting. So there's a picture of it, like, one of them has like 4 or 5 horns coming out of the cheek, like that. It looks horrible.
I think we're all scared of AI. It's the horned rabbit. It's the
Disgusting, yeah.
horned
It's real, that's the thing, it's real. It's not,
That sounds horrible.
let me see if I can get the article from my history somewhere.
Specialist fox.
The rabbits that have mutated and they look terrible. No, they may find it. How do I get a history out of this? Yeah, they're called zombie rabbits. Yeah, so some are independent. Like, rabbits in Colorado are causing last month. Well, this one's got something underneath its mouth. It's terrible. Oh. It's like a two, yeah, it looks like that. But it's actually a form. It's coming out of its lips. So I don't know where we've got stuff coming out of its slot. No, exactly, yeah. Like your lab more. Definitely yeah, then. Another one of the
It's going to be a nightmare.
yeah.
Hi guys. Yeah. What are you going to say before me? Thank you. Well, you had these. They're so like Marks and Spencer like a form of those other ones.
Oh yeah, that was.
Usually the way, and I'm so most expensive. Yeah, I've got a drink.
Which one is left?
There you go.
Yeah, but we'll make sure we put everything away properly so that way. Yeah. No. So that's really kind of you.
And then, has she got another headline about Starmer after me, or can I just say whatever? Good. Don't need one, let's go.
Pro.
Just on a roll now, which is what? It's about to be hour 5 of this. I really need the toilet. As soon as he leaves, I've got to see.
Is Aaron upset? Anyone heard from Aaron? Disappointed Aaron. Great. He's got to speak to us, hasn't he? Alaska.
Thank you. UK is saying no deal can be imposed on Ukraine. It is. Trump's
I get framed up with it.
The UK has said that no deal can be imposed on Ukraine ahead of President Trump and President Putin's summit tomorrow.
All I'm saying, oh, Aaron.
Okay. Yes, Martin. Yes, I hear you. Thank you very much. One two one two one two. I'll be speaking about this level. 1 1 1 2 1 2. Speaking about this level. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Once again, all week this week, I've been clicking in and out, in and out, in and out. All week. Yeah. It just clicks off, comes back, clicks off, comes back. Weird. That's 3 different units. Also here we're on a Thank you.
It's important, yes, because that big hug between Sir Keir Starmer and Vladimir Zelensky was designed to be a very public show of unity. They'll be hoping that those images are seen in the White House, that they give a sense of just how steadfast the support here for Ukraine is. But you're right to have a note of caution there as well, Regina, because although incidents like this matter, they're important for diplomacy, the most important event this week is that one in Alaska with Presidents Putin and Trump. They are going to be the ones having the consequential talks. And neither man that we've just seen is going to be there. They are going to be probably thousands of miles away, watching on closely to see what happens. Now, there was some cautious optimism after those talks yesterday that President Trump had got the message that Downing Street and other European leaders don't think a deal can simply be imposed on Ukraine, that it needs to be part of these talks. They'll be very happy to hear President Trump suggest that the summit tomorrow could be followed by a summit involving President Zelensky. However, that doesn't mean there'll be no nervousness here. We asked President Zelensky when he arrived if he could trust President Trump, and the reason that matters is because President Trump is known to be an unpredictable character. His diplomatic efforts often veer off in different directions. So there will be nervousness both here in Downing Street and in Kyiv with President Zelensky about what exactly is going to happen tomorrow. Both the men having talks in that building right now know they're not around the table, so they'll be watching, hoping. Yeah, the UK's tried to walk a bit of a diplomatic tightrope on that front. We seem to be extremely close to President Zelensky, offering him full throttle support at every opportunity, but also trying to keep President Trump on side and being able to say to him, look, here's what we think should happen. The UK was part of that effort to try and mend bridges between Ukraine and the US after that disastrous meeting in the Oval Office, certainly through the eyes of the Ukrainians anyway. So yes, the UK has sought to put itself front and centre in all of this. Sir Keir Starmer has been working very closely with Emmanuel Macron of France, Friedrich Merz in Berlin as well. But that dollop of caution remains. Yes, President Trump and Prime Minister Starmer do have a good relationship. Yes, those talks are continuing. Yes, the UK thinks that it can influence the President's position, but they can't be certain, and we don't know for sure that President Trump will come out of those talks with President Putin tomorrow having the same steadfast position that he was expressing expressing last night.
Yes. Minute and a half. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Too much? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Speaking about this level, we just raised the microphone. 5. One minute. Yeah, I imagine something like that. Well, Zelensky is inside the 10 Downing Street. He's only been there for half an hour, and the convoy motors are already running to take him away in about the next half an hour. It's not expected to be a long meeting. We're not expecting a press conference, so we're not necessarily going to get a read on exactly what was talked about here. But as you say, it's all about the meeting in Alaska tomorrow, Friday, between Donald Trump and Putin, fears among European allies, and Zelensky, of course, the banking result of Zelensky, of course, capitulation. There is now optimism, though. Perhaps Trump is going to toe a slightly tougher line with Putin that after a phone call that took place between Trump, Zelensky, and European leaders in Berlin. Zelensky was in Berlin on Wednesday. Trump talking afterwards about severe consequences if Putin doesn't meaningfully engage in talks towards a ceasefire. Keir Starmer congratulating Trump for coming up with what he described as a viable path to peace. Well, we don't know what that viable path is now, but I think what they'll be talking about in there is exactly what Trump did say, what Trump meant by what he said, and what Trump might actually do when he comes face to face with Putin. And Friday, those three things don't necessarily, of course, follow one from the other, as Zelensky knows all too well that he will see Keir Starmer not just as a key ally, but as a leader who perhaps has Trump's ear more than most. Well, they've got to talk about how they might respond to whatever comes out of Friday's meeting, and that would be key to it, how to secure any eventual peace deal. Starmer, along with Emmanuel Macron of France, of course, has spearheaded this so-called coalition of the willing countries that are willing to participate in some form of peacekeeping style security operation post-war. We know that Putin has said that Ukraine cannot join NATO, that that's just de facto disarmament. Trump has been pretty firm up to now in saying the US won't provide security guarantees. All of that would leave Ukraine deeply vulnerable. Again, out of Wednesday's phone call, there appears to have been a door opening towards the idea that the US might, in fact, be part of some post-war security arrangement. Again, that, I think, is part of what they'll be talking about now. Thank you.
how long they're going to be. Pardon? It looks to me like they could be on the move quite soon. All the security are back out, so it should just be ready.
You've been shot or
Out, I think. For the sake of the public safety. Hi guys. Pardon?
no one comes to very short.
I don't know how imminent this is, guys. Well, I've literally just texted you. Yeah, exactly that. That warm hug was very symbolic, wasn't it? Symbolic of the fact that Europe wants the world to know that it's standing steadfastly behind Ukraine. We've been in there for about 40 minutes. There are some signs of movement here that President Zelensky might be leaving soon. I bet he has a lot more diplomacy to do over the next 24 hours or so before that summit between Presidents Trump and Putin. And to be honest, although there are important matters for Keir Starmer and Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss, they've been on the same page for a long time. And the key thing that they will be talking about, the key thing that they want President Trump to put on the table tomorrow is a demand that things aren't done to Ukraine, nothing's imposed on the Ukrainian people, and that President Zelensky is round the table when any final decisions are made. Thank it was from the past. here. You had that from me. I think this is a minute actually a minute this thing. Yeah, about an hour's worth of talks are taking place this morning.
Has today's visit been a success, Prime Minister? Do you have a plan B if Trump fails in Alaska? Will UK troops be sent to Ukraine to secure a ceasefire? Will Ukraine be sending more weapons? Will UK be sending more weapons to Ukraine? Should Trump be giving away Ukraine's minerals for peace? Do you still have Trump's ear, Prime Minister? Is Putin being manipulated?
Yeah, I think that's tactical, to be honest with you, Eugene. The Prime Minister hasn't actually said all that much to the media over the last few days, apart from the scripted handouts we get from these meetings and the pictures we saw at the top of that meeting he had with other European leaders yesterday. I think the reason for that is they want to have a united front to say this is how we feel about the conflict, but also to avoid saying anything that might appear to be a split with the US.
偷偷告诉大家，我最近发现了新法宝 Royal Face 逆时奇迹系列，它有活肤露、全效精华，还有精华霜。尤其我皮肤比较偏干，所以我非常的注重保湿。保湿做得好，肌肤自然烹饪。提亮肤色更年轻，抚平皱纹超有感，而且气色变好。 用心保养，每天都更美一点。美吧。